Yo, so I'm following some of you guys' recommendation for the second video, whereas the first video, I was kind of over here, so you guys can kind of see the pillar. So I moved it more centered, and then everybody was asking where the mic was. So the sombrero has my mic attached to it. So yeah, I plan to do shorts at some point. I just gotta learn how to do that, but yeah, I think one step at a time. So the first video was just yapping. I like to say it like Japanese, so I was just yapping because it's like a first video, so I don't really know the sense of direction, and I kind of just wanted to make it natural, whereas I don't feel like I'm scripting anything or being like, oh yeah, I need to do it a certain way, a certain direction. But yeah, thank you for all the subs. It was crazy. I didn't imagine 120 subs or at least 120 people watching me. I think it's small for other people, for me, but to me it's a lot, you know. I take everything with being humble. Like imagine 120 people standing there cheering you on or supporting you. I think of it like that. Just like my last video where it's just start. Even though you're on Facebook and maybe only 2-3 people like your post, that's still 2 to 3 people that imagine they're standing there cheering you on. So I think it's a great first step for everybody. So I have my life figured out, but I don't have a YouTube, so this is my first step into getting used to this, right? Setting up on how to do proper videos, or maybe not, maybe just do a natural talk and chill in the car like this and just talk, right? But I think today's video, though, I have a little of a direction I want to go to. So I kind of want to talk about my bodybuilding journey and how I did it. So while I'm still idling in my car, I know some car guys would be like, why is your car idling? But I don't want to have a reckless driving. But so anyway, so more about me. I started bodybuilding since 18, so 2018, and I didn't know how to diet at the time, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put ranch on my salad because I don't like eating salad that much or whatever, because I wanted to eat healthier, and everybody was like, eat a salad, eat all that stuff, but I had no sense of direction on how to do that. But then I finally realized why I wasn't losing weight, because I was putting a bunch of caloric things onto it to supplement that it didn't taste good to me, right? But now, looking back on it, you live and you learn, right? Because I finally now was like, okay, I shouldn't be doing that. And then when I was at the gym, I had to go with a gym buddy, man. Kudos to him to get me to get started. But after a while, I wanted to take it to the next level and just go every single day. Well, maybe 6 days a week, but I wanted to take it more than every other day, or maybe three times a week. So it wasn't enough for me. For me, I just wanted to go all out and not just lose some weight, because funny story, I couldn't lift the bar back then when I was 18. So I was like, dang, everybody has a place to start, right? Because now I naturally rep 225 for reps on the bench, but irrelevant stuff. But now, fast forward to 2021, I attempted bodybuilding, and I got close. It was maybe 10% body fat still, so I didn't really get to see my abs at the time. So I kind of gave up and went back to dirty bulking. But I think in 2022, it finally hit me of dang, I want to do something, do something for me. At the time, 2021, I was more maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. But 2022, it finally hit me. I'm like, if I want to become something, I should just do it. I'm still in my youth, so I still have time to learn the mistakes and get better at it, right? Whereas if I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, and there's nothing wrong with starting at those ages. It's just you have a harder time depending on your situation, because at that point you're either married, you have kids, you have more responsibilities as you get older, and it's just harder as your mind, or the mindset that you're at. You're not in your prime anymore when you're in your 20s, compared to your 20s, because when you're in your 20s, you're much more creative in what things you do, and your body is just in its best situation. And if you guys had to take anything to take away from this video, it's the habits that you guys do in your 20s is what's going to shape your 30s and 40s and 50s. And, like, you may not think, like, exercising or starting that business or whatever it may be, going on that walk every day, like something very simple, but it adds to your health, whether it be your mental, your financials, or your physical. In the end, it adds up. Like right now, that's why I don't party, that's why I don't club. It doesn't add anything that my 30 to 40 year self would look back on and be like, oh yeah, you know, this added to my life. It was more of like, I want to get in better shape and just be more financially to a point where I can, like, do whatever I wanted, right? But in a sense, that's why I took it seriously to do bodybuilding, because I didn't have financials at the time. So I was just like, well, what else can I do? I can go get my dream body while I'm still in college and finish out. And truth be told, I didn't want to finish that college degree. Like, I was on my last year, but in retrospect, like, my parents crossed to America to give me the life that I have now. So to me, it might just mean a piece of paper. To them, it meant the world, because they still plaque it on their wall. So it's more or less like, it's my way of saying thanks to them, because in the end, as much as I would love to have done 9 to 5, it just, in my head, it didn't click very, very well. Like, it just didn't. But to the point, yeah. Like, I go in tangents, but back to it. So 2022 is when I took it seriously, and I have a photo of that. So this was in February, roughly. So it was like 190. So I can honestly tell you it was rough, but I think I can show you a slideshow. Let's see if this works. So yeah, YOLO. Kind of the reflection there. But over the course of the 15 weeks, started getting better, started posing better, started actually smiling, because at first I didn't know how to pose or smile, and then I eventually got to the point where, yeah, I got to the 7%, and then got better and better at the posing. Yep. And then that was when I looked peaked. Yeah, 6-pack and all, but, you know, reality was that 6-pack was good, but I was, like, tired. I was, like, worn out. But, you know, they coated my back, like, twice, so the coating process, so I looked like burnt fried rice. And then yeah, I basically took home the win. Yep. Pose and everything. So I still have my medals, because I thought I was gonna win a sword or a katana or something cool, but you kind of don't get to know till, like, the day of the show or whatever, or like a week leading up to what you got. So I got medals. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I still got medals. So I took home first, third, and fourth. So the third and fourth were like overalls, and then first was for true Navi. So get that out of the way before I start driving, because yeah, I don't want to be a bad driver. So in a sense, now it's 2022, and I look like the very beginning photo that I had previously shown, and yeah, I wasn't feeling the best, because I was like, dang, like, this is the biggest I've ever been, because I was dirty bulking. So I was like, because I wanted an excuse to eat good food, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dirty bulk, you know, like, I'm gonna call myself out on it. Oh shit, it's not tight enough. I don't know what the heck. Let me tighten that up. Okay. I'm gonna leave this in just to be, you know, transparent, you know, like, gotta adjust the camera. So I kind of loosened up, but that's okay. It's still gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue on with this. In a sense, I took on my coach, I hired on my coach, and it was 16 weeks out from the show. So he basically said, you know, he needs a week to understand my body. So we went through it. It wasn't anything crazy. He basically adjusted my diet to a pretty standard diet, you know, 6 meals a day, and then like an hour and a half of workouts. So the workouts consisted of like PPL, like push-pull legs, and push-pull legs was like standard, but like I had double like leg days just to be toned out and whatnot. And thinking back on it, so the 15 weeks leading, so the 15 to 10 week mark out wasn't bad. It was just like dieting and going to cardio, and it was only like 40 minutes and stuff like that, so it wasn't anything crazy. But I think the 7 week mark was when I finally noticed, dang, I look shredded, you know. I was like, oh man, you know, like not crazy shredded, but it was getting to the point where like I actually believed like this is it. And that's another thing, you just have to believe in yourself to be able to do it, you know. If you don't believe in yourself, you're a halfway to failure. Whereas if you believe you're there, then you believe you're halfway there. You know, if I believed I was gonna win first place, you know, not being like egotistical or whatever, but you know, you have to believe you're gonna win. You can't be like, oh, you know, maybe I placed 10th or like maybe I placed 3rd, like some crazy thing, you know. Like you just have to be like, I'm the shit, you know. I gotta do it. Like I am it, you know. Like you are him or you are her, you know. Like in a sense, if you believe it, you're gonna get it done, like no matter what. So in my mind, at that point, I didn't break any of my habits or the structures that it took me to get there. So like the 7 week mark, I literally started having to, you know, friends would invite me out to go eat and stuff like that, or stay out late, and I had to, you know, kindly turn that down because I had to, you know, get my bodybuilding journey together. So I wanted to have proper sleep, have proper diet, and then have a proper gym workout, and like my mental state like was like the most important at the time for me. So it did get lonely, and sure, it is of my own choice because I went to do bodybuilding, but at the same time, it shows you, you know, like your goals are yours alone. No one's gonna force me to be like, oh, you know, like you're forced to do bodybuilding, you're forced to do this, it's the same thing with business, going to a new job, going to a new city. Like it's on you. Like in the end of the day, like you're gonna do it or you're not going to do it. 10 years from now, so 24, right? I've done the things that I've done now, and I can look back on them and be like, dang, I actually achieved something, you know, instead of, whereas I'm like 34, so 10 years ahead, and I didn't want to go solo traveling, I didn't want to do bodybuilding, I didn't want to start the business, then I don't really have much to look back on, and that's my own fault. I think of it like it's your own fault for better or worse, in a sense. Because in the end, the choices that you make lead you up to who you are now. And that's why I was talking about, like, your habits dictate how your 30s and 40s will actually look like. As much as people say, like, live your life, like, you're still young, like, it catches up to you. All that shit catches up to you. And when someone says, oh, you got all the time in the world, sure, you got time, but you don't got all the time in the world. Like, in the end, like, your dreams, your goals can only be achieved when you want to do them. People can cheer you on and be like, yeah, bro, you got it. You just got to start. Like, they tell you the same thing. Like, hey, you know, I'll be there to support you when you start. Hence, starting. So, yeah. So, 7 weeks out, I was pretty shredded at the time. And then we got down to, like, the 5 week mark. And that was, like, when I started, like, feel, like, fatigued from everything. But I pushed through, and then this is when I actually started journaling. So I journaled to myself, like, you're gonna make it, you're gonna do it, like, because my mental state at the time was like, it wasn't like the greatest. It was kind of shaky, whereas like I started doubting myself. I was like, is this enough? Like, should I like wait another 16 weeks? Should I wait like a couple more weeks to find a different show to compete? But in my head I was like, nah, like I want to do the show that's 16 weeks out. And I told my coach that, and he was shook. He's like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it, right? Fuck it, let's do it. So in my mind, I was like, fuck it, let's do it, you know? I locked in, and I had a deadline. And I think the lesson there is if you have a deadline, you're more likely to get it done. Because you have a set time frame that you need to get it done. So in my mind, I was like, I want it done in like the next 15 weeks. So I did that. We didn't change our plan. I told my coach I was going to go through with it, and I was going to compete. And 5 weeks, yeah, I started getting in my own head, because the saying goes, you are your worst enemy, right? And it's true enough. In my mind, I was like, I really don't want to do this, like, at all. Like, at first I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then like, it goes back and forth, right? But in some way, in some form, I was like, maybe I'm not enough to, like, compete. Like, maybe like, I'm not doing enough and stuff like that. So, I hope my coach doesn't watch this video and, like, think of something, but, I did, like, extra on the program that wasn't on there. So basically I would do like 10k steps every day, and additionally just keep myself conditioned, right? So I basically did 10k steps every single day leading up to like the last 5 weeks, just to keep myself in shape. And then there'd be times where, like, on the diet, like, the macros said, like, maybe eat like oats and stuff, and I didn't feel like eating oats, so I basically, like, supplemented it. I still kept with the macros, I still kept with the calories and everything. And I mean, I didn't know if there were nuances to actually taking certain, certain foods that, make you more, like, toned, or they call it a pump. I don't know what you, like, scientifically would call that, but, like, whether it make you, like, you more pumped at the gym or just more energetic. But for the most part, I stick with the same macros and, like, the caloric amount. So I wasn't, like, going off the rails technically, but my coach sees this, and anyway, I hope he's not too mad, because I mean, I still ended up taking first for him. So, but in a sense, the 5 week mark was like, yeah, my isolation point. Like, I couldn't be around friends, family members, or anything. It was just more of like, I just got to get done. Like, I had to still do my class schoolwork, and it's my last, like, it was like my last semester. So all the finals, all the stuff were, like, hitting me. I was like, man. And then, like, I tried to do as much of it as I could, and then go to bed, because I honestly wanted to my 8 hours to 9 hours of sleep at the time, because sleep is key, or else I'd probably been like the most cranky person there. But I basically kept to that. So the 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and eating the proper diet, and then supplementing every now and then also keeping up with my gym routine. And all that requires discipline. No one's gonna make me do that. No one. Like, I could have gone off the rails and supplemented stuff, and then what? That's my own fault, because my coach gave me a plan. He gave me a roadmap. Like, if I had just followed it, I'd win. But in the end of the day, it's up to you to follow that. He or she or whoever, is your mentor or whatever, in any sense, like, in any realm. So whether it be business, gym, or whatever, they're gonna tell you one thing, and that, like, the thing that worked for them, or their advice to to get you to succeed. And if you don't listen to that, or you go off the rails, that's on you. Like, in the end of the day, like, it's up to you. Everything is you. Like, I think that's, like, the main, like, point of this video. Like, everything is up to you. Like, starting this YouTube channel, no one's making me do it. Honestly, I don't need to do it, but I kind of want to do it, because everybody asks, like, how are you so, like, inspired, or, like, what's your motivation, or, like, the background story. Not many people know, and that's the funny thing. Like, your close friends are the ones not to support you, but, like, strangers, they will applaud me. Like, I'm just in town, it's like, dang, bro, you have a nice car, like, you have a nice life, like, I've heard about you and stuff like that, and it's all positive, and I think the motto there is inspire before we expire. I want to continue doing this. So I think it was about time that I actually just said YOLO, and then just do my YouTube video, or YouTube channel per se, in a sense. But yeah, I think three weeks out from the show, it just started, like, my mental started really going down. I mean, I try not to tell anybody during that time, because it's like, why would it matter to them? Like, because in the end of the day, I'm like, if I'm being a negative Nancy about it, or like, oh, like, I don't think I'm going to win, blah, 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 like, it's not going to help. Like, I'd rather just think positive, because if you think negative, it's like, I'm setting myself up for failure, right? So I was like, nah, like, I'm just going to journal it that I don't feel as adequate enough to compete. Well, but ultimately, I'm gonna do it. So 2 weeks out, they call that Hell Week, and yeah, holy, I understood what that meant. Basically, like the 2 weeks out left I had, like I was doing the most cardio known to man. I was like doing like an hour and 45 on top of my workout. So I was like, huh. And like the 4 weeks leading up to that show, like no one made me do it, but I woke up at 4 in the morning every single day to hit the gym, and then I would be done at the gym by like 6, because at the time now I have less energy and less food going in my system. So yeah, it was not good, but I did it anyway. Like that alarm went off at like 3:45, and I was like, I just want to hit snooze. But I reminded myself, that's my future on the line. If I hit snooze and go back to bed, I am the only person to blame in that situation there. So I got my ass up. Luckily, like the way I did maintain myself to keep up was I had the day before, I had already shaken up the pre-workout and everything in the bottle, and I just put it in the fridge. By the time I woke up, I just got up like if there was a fire in my house, and then ran to the fridge and drank it. And then I would be, I wouldn't say tweaking, but I was up like fidgeting. I was up at that point. So, any way to stay up, right? But I was up, and I was like, all right, it's time to hit the gym. And then I would do that, and then I would finish my cardio then and there too. So basically, it was like 6, and then I'd finish my cardio. It'd be like 7, 7:30, maybe 8 now, and then I'd go to work. At the time, I still worked, and yeah, after that, I got off, and I had to do all my homework as fast as humanly possible, and then practice my routine. So I did my posing routine on my own, so it was my own little flair. So like I did my own little anime, like smoke dance and all that stuff, compared to like just the normal like front pose, side pose, back pose that men's physique do. So I wasn't really interested in trying to be like the dullest one there, so I wanted to stand out. So I did my own little flair on that, and it was cool. It was cool because I actually liked it. So I had practiced, because there were some YouTubers that I watched that had like really good posing routines. So I like got inspo from them and then did that. But in a sense, it was like now, like once I got off work and did the posing routine and did all my homework and stuff like that, like it was basically down to like what I only had I only had that much time now to like eat and then watch something a little bit, or just keep myself like my mental state just fine, because then I had to go straight to sleep. Like 6 o'clock, like 6 p.m. to like 2 a.m. was already 8 hours, and I was trying to aim for 8 to 9 hours every day. So then, you know what? I forced myself to go to bed at 7, even though I did not want to, because 7 was like, what the heck? Like, I still got the rest of the night to enjoy anything to do. But I was like, no, because I had to wake up at 3 in the morning. So it was real intense. And again, no one made me do any of that. But in the end, you chase your goals. You make it achievable. You make it a reality. So I did just that. And Hell Week, yeah, left me with like little to no time to do anything. Like I was like, when people say when you're chasing your dreams, you just have to lock in, right? That just means like cutting off all social connections, or ones that aren't gonna lead you to where you need to be, and cutting off people, events, and stuff like that. It's just, you don't hate them or you don't dislike them. It's just you're on that goal path, and you just gotta hit it, right? And that's one way to hit it. You just have to do what's best in that moment, or best of interest. You just have to do it. So in that sense, 2 weeks out, yeah, I literally had no time to do nothing. Like there was nothing. It was eat, sleep, school, practice, pose, wake up, repeat, eat, repeat. And I think the takeaway there is, if you can do the mundane tasks, you can enjoy the fun. So I was on my last week of the bodybuilding prep, and thank you, like, oh my gosh, it finally was like, I finally could like do less cardio. I still did my 10K steps every day, so I still did that. But then my diet started, I started eating a little more. But like, I think the biggest sense there was the water intake, because the water intake for the entire 15 weeks leading up to the last week was just like 1.5 gallons of water. And funny enough, I didn't get myself a 1.5 gallon of water. I literally was like, let me just measure this in water bottles. So I basically like started off with 12 bottles, and then by like near like the end of the bodybuilding thing, I was up to like 16 bottles a day. And let me tell you, I was like pissing every single 5 minutes. Like I was like, oh man, like there'd be some nights where I didn't take enough water earlier on, and I'd have to wake up and go pee, and I was like, you know, because I wanted to like maintain that deep sleep, the REM sleep, so like the REM sleep, where you hit the point of like you're in and out of that REM cycle. So I didn't want to ruin the flow, but you know, I just had to let my body flow. So I was like, but you know, it was okay. But during the last week, I only like it got down to like 2 bottles of water towards the end, and then like my last day right before the show, I was down to like half a bottle. so like, man, that was crazy, because the night of, I had to take 3 shots, and then I ate my cheat meal. So that was like the glorifying, like, yes, I get to eat a cheat meal before my show. But oh my lord, oh my lord, you know, like I woke up and I was so dehydrated because the 3 shots that I had to take like dehydrated the rest of my body, and I was only on like a bottle of water that night leading up. But it was basically to like dry out my body, so like when I were to get on stage, I would look dry and lean, like the lean machine, you know. But leading up to it, I was so nervous. Like I was like, okay, it's like showtime, and I was just like, dang, like it's been 16 weeks, and I finally get to do the fun part, get on stage and compete and pose. So my posing routine, you know, honestly, I thought I was gonna slip on stage, not gonna lie. Like I was like, oh man, like what happens if like I slip and I'm like, nah bro, I'm never doing this again, you know, I'm leaving the country or something. But I ended up just fine. Like I honestly liked it, because it was like so we all like did our posing routine one at a time, and then we all stood up on stage together during our divisions. So they break us up into divisions. So I was in Division B for so I signed up for all 3 events. So you can have like the one where it's the overalls, your class best, and then true novice, where like any class goes, right? So in a sense, now I basically, you know, we're all compared against each other, and then yeah, like the cheering, like I was number 52, so they're like 52. I was like, yeah. And then when like the coach moved me to the, like not the coaches, the judges, they moved me to the middle, and I was stood there for like the remainder of like the prejudging. I was like, I'm the shit. Like I felt like I was the shit, you know. But in a sense, now I was like my head was like screwed on tight. I was like, I got this, you know. And then once it came time to the actual finals, so we basically went home. Well, I went back to the Airbnb for a while because it was in Oklahoma. So I went back to the Airbnb and took like a little nap. And then I had to show up again around like 5 or 6 just to be there on time. And then this is when they like called us for our classes and stuff like that. So like for the true novice, like there were a bunch of people that were like 6'5" and everything, and had bigger mass than I did. So I was just sitting there like, dang, like, you know. But I was in the middle for prejudging, so I had already felt like I felt good. Like I felt like I had locked this shit down. So they called 5th place. It wasn't my name. 4th wasn't my name. 3rd wasn't my name. 2nd wasn't my name, and I was like, yes sir, we did it. And then 1st place, they called my name, and I was like, fuck yeah, you know. I was like the most excited I had ever been in like my life. And then I finally took the medal, put it on my head, and then I didn't really care. I placed 3rd or 4th in the other divisions because they had more time than me. And I'm not saying that as an excuse. I was just saying, like, I could always easily go back and try, but I think the main thing there is I just wanted to try, like, true novice. True novice is like you've never competed, you've never done any of that. So I felt good taking home 1st in my. So it's like you know, technically you can call it undefeated. You know, I've never competed again. So I mean, take it how you will. But I think the lesson there was I finally got shredded. You know, I got down to 7.2 body fat and 142. So I went from 190 to 142 in 15 weeks. Like, it was hell, yes, but I did it. And I think that's like the main takeaway from anybody. If you wanted to do it, just do it and see how far you can get. And let's say I didn't place that well, like second place, third, or whatever, right? I still went through the tribulations that it took to get there. And most people view it like, oh, I failed, so everything else, like the entire process or whatever, is a failure, right? But no, in a sense, like, let's say I did place second or third, like in the other divisions, right? My like third and fourth placement, right? Think of it like this: like, I did the diet correct, I did like the cardio and all that stuff correct. It's fine, but I think it was just my posing or something. Like, it's just one thing you got to tweak to be better. Like your business, let's say you have like good marketing and good price point, but you just have the wrong audience, like the wrong target audience. And if you had the right target audience, then that's where you would get your, you know, your audience, or like your people. So in a sense, it's same thing in any sense. Whereas like when you're hanging out with strangers and stuff like that, you find your people, that like the people that you can connect with and stuff. So yeah, I'm just rambling on, but I think that's a good second video talking about like me, myself, more personally, so you can understand like where I'm at in my life and where how I started out and stuff like that. So that's my bodybuilding journey and how I took first place, and also the mindset that it took me to get to where I'm at. And funny enough, you know, I got back to the same place where I am now, you know, in terms of driving, whatever. But yeah, that was a long doozy, but yeah, that's how I won first place in True Novice. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.